It's good to be back, bro.
Gents,
It's good to be here.
we're here again.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back
Hey?
at
This
it.
couch is pretty comfortable.
The couch is
You guys
comfortable.
were having fun last week. Well,
Yeah, listen, I'm in the
you're
more
missing out.
squared. I'm
Yeah,
in the
are
more
you-
squared place. Yeah.
You look like you're the adjudicator of the session.
Oh, is it? Oh, no. Okay.
Because
Maybe I
you're
must.
saying, hey,
I'm putting my legs. I'm crossing my legs. I think for people that just joined us on radio, welcome to them. Hey.
Yeah.
It's the lounge.
This is the lounge.
I wanted to say like the 4th episode because
Yeah, it just feels like we've been at it. And
It
this
just
is
feels
only
like-
the second episode,
Yeah.
Second
man.
episode of the lounge.
yeah, like we said last week, we've been doing this already in the parking lot and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is why it feels like we're just all of a sudden getting it on camera now.
We're just welcoming you into the lounge.
Basically,
We're just saying, kick back, relax, take a seat
Yeah.
in the lounge, and chat.
just like that.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it. So yeah, super excited for tonight. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a cool one.
I'm just as excited, man.
Yeah,
Dylan
man.
is on the throne of grace.
Come on.
tonight,
Hallelujah.
You know, he's on
I
the
receive.
master seats.
I receive.
It feels like I gotta bring some sort of spotlight on
Some
it.
sort of
He's
spot. I don't mind,
He's
bro.
the adjudicator tonight.
I
you
don't
know?
mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Listen, you're with Dylan Hartland.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, he was like, listen.
I'm just saying,
It's authoritative.
we
It's like,
haven't established, right? Someone's just
Beautiful.
maybe they're on the radio
Yeah.
and they're like, what is going on? Why? They
not
know
hearing
us.
True.
They know the three of us. They know Kgosi. They were just listening to him on the afternoon
Yeah,
drive.
yeah.
They know Tondi Rams. He was on air earlier today.
Tondi Rambani.
Tondi Rambani.
Yeah, that's
It sounds like he's a
Krepinai.
Tondi rabbi. Hey,
I can be a rabbi.
you wanna? Okay, you can be a rabbi for us, I guess.
Yeah, but this is it. This is the lounge. This is where we relax.
Yeah.
We kick back, relax, and chat.
There we
And
go.
have like some good chats, but take it easy.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Nothing too serious. And anybody who's listening on radio, you want to jump onto YouTube and see
Yeah.
the set. It
Oh,
looks
that's
nice.
for sure.
It's
That's for
pretty
sure.
cool.
Greenery.
But I mean, Dylan said his name, and I think he was doing something so commendable. Up until you interrupted him.
No, he did all our names, bro.
No, but he
He
was,
was like, I'm Dylan. That's Kgosi. You just heard him on the afternoon. That's Tondi Rambani, Mr.
I know.
Rabbi. Yeah, that's it.
That's a Tondi Rams.
point of correction. You know what I'm saying? There's no Tondi Rambani.
Tondi Rambani.
We're going to be searching for you now on
Yeah, I know,
Insta.
but
Like,
like, who's
what's going
Rambani?
on? Who's Rambani?
But
Yeah.
on other news, we had a long weekend, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to
nice.
hear from you guys. What did you guys get up to?
That was really nice. Ah, man, I was chilled, bro. I was home. I chilled with my wife, taking it easy, nothing too hectic.
Nice.
Nothing too crazy. And then Sunday went out for lunch. Just stepped out of town a little bit, just
Nice.
to break out of the four walls of the house.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it.
That's
Came back
refreshing.
home. Yeah, it was pretty nice, man.
Come on,
Yourself?
man.
Okay.
Myself, I mean, I had a great weekend. Friday, a friend of mine released a single, so went over, to a restaurant. Great vibes with friends.
Nice.
Saturday, I chilled. Also went out, to the stores a bit,
Nice.
thrifting a little bit.
Okay, some shopping. Okay, we'll see your new drip here on
We're
camera.
gonna see the new drip.
We'll
You
see
know
it.
what I'm
We'll
saying?
see
Into
it.
the
Yeah.
new drip. Let's go.
No, I've seen.
No, we've seen the
you've
bucket
this
ads.
before.
Yeah, we've seen the
Egyptian
bucket
bees.
ads.
Yeah,
And
no, we'll
obviously,
see when he walks
you
in
can't
there.
thrift socks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's probably not the most
not the most thriftable thing.
Yeah.
Side note: no one can thrift as much as this guy. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
anybody who can thrift
yeah.
like this guy. Like,
No.
yeah, like he deserves a bell right there.
But here's the
Definitely.
thing about it. I gotta give it up to my younger brother Matthew. I mean, he's the thrift king. So you know what I'm saying? There's always an influencer. You know what I'm saying?
True,
Oh, yeah.
True,
So I give it up to him.
Motivation.
Motivation, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, Kgosi is gonna come here and say, "Hey, bro, I was
Nah,
thrifting
this
this weekend."
Got myself this super vintage denim jacket.
We're going to a thrift themed party. That's
Yeah.
the only reason.
But otherwise, I mean, Saturday had a friend's birthday as well.
Nice.
And then Sunday was super, super dope as well. Spent it with family. Went to see my sister and and my brother-in-law, her husband.
Okay.
So yeah, I hadn't seen them in a while. So I was like, nah, let me make some time, go see them.
Yeah.
Also spent it with my sister, big elder sister, later younger brother, nephew, friends. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty nice.
Family vibes.
Family vibes.
Wholesome.
man.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you, DZ?
Great. Me, look, I mean, it was Heritage Day on Friday. So I did the right thing. We bride here.
On the
Oh,
Thursday,
yes, yeah.
On Thursday, we did, on the afternoon drive.
Brian again after Thursday.
Yeah.
She was.
Friday
It's
again.
off to you. I think I actually get to do it.
Saturday again. Sunday, I took a break from Brian.
Hey,
Yeah.
But were you actually bragging on Friday?
Yes, I was
You did?
actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, bro, I didn't see you
Yeah.
bragging. I saw Donkey bragging. Okay.
I was actually. Oh no, Thursday I didn't brag.
Oh, Thursday.
Yeah,
oh,
no.
not Friday. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm
Yeah.
lost.
But Friday was cool. I was at my pastor's house. It was his eldest son's birthday. So we celebrated his birthday and celebrated him getting a year older. But that was just wholesome, you know, being at the pastor's house.
Yeah.
You know what it is. It's always nice, always cool.
Did he show you his Bible?
Oh,
That
yeah.
he uses for
Oh,
sermon
yeah.
preps? I mean, not the one he
Super
brings on
vintage.
Sunday.
No.
The one that he uses for sermon prep.
Oh, yeah,
The one that's
yeah.
got all the notes.
Right.
Did you
The
see
sticky notes, the pink notes sticking out, yeah.
The pink
And I was
notes.
even in his
Yes.
office.
Oh, yeah, you got to see it.
I got to see that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it was cool.
Nice.
Other than that, you know, just celebrating. I think also just took a moment on Friday to acknowledge everyone's cultures and
Yeah.
just how awesome it is that we can literally, all three of us are
Yeah.
from different cultures.
True.
And we're all sitting together in front of the same camera on the same radio station doing a show together. I was like,
Which is
wow,
beautiful.
that's
Yeah.
really cool.
That's
You
amazing.
know what? I mean, even scripture, just taking it straight to scripture as well, how Jesus said to them, they will know that you're mine, but the way that you love each other.
Hallelujah.
Come on.
And that's one of the most important things. And being able to be together in unity, despite differences, that's such a beautiful thing. It represents the kingdom.
Yeah.
And that's the life that we're living, man.
That's a rabbi in him coming out. Right?
Definitely. Definitely.
But look, we're about to, before we get into the serious things, we're getting into a segment we call What's the Fuss?
Yeah. Yeah, something that we
What's
sort
the
of thought.
fuss?
What's the fuss?
It's a moment where we find something, whether it's trending on Twitter, something that the world's speaking about, and we basically stop and acknowledge, you know, what's the fuss about? Why is
What's
everyone
the fuss?
going crazy about
Crazy
it?
about it.
Yeah.
So having a look on Twitter right now, there's a couple of things trending, various things. There's a lot of things going on about the elections. Obviously, that's coming up
Yeah.
on the 1st of November. But I think one of the big ones that's trending right now is R. Kelly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, R. Kelly.
Sheesh.
Because a guilty verdict came out. So he's actually going to jail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy.
So another one that's trending, that's a little bit of an interesting one, is Miguel.
Yes.
That's the R&B thing.
I saw that one, and what's the
Yeah.
fuss about that?
The fuss there is that him and his wife of 3 years just ended their marriage after 14 years of being together before. So 17 years in total they've ended it. But it's not about the fact that they ended it. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's them. It's just like, you know, it's like, it's why them?
Yeah.
I get you. I saw a couple of tweets, and people were just saying that, yo, now how do I believe in love? Like
Yeah.
when a couple like this that I've looked up to, and they look so beautiful together, and now it's just like, what is love?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it broke my heart because I'm just like,
Yeah.
man,
I've
because
been singing to his songs at my wedding day. Now he's divorced. No. Like, it's crazy. Actually.
Shame.
So that's what the fuss is so far today. There's a whole lot of things, as mentioned, towards the local government elections later on. That's happening next month on the 1st of November. Speaking of, did you guys register? Just
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, as we,
yeah.
as we motivate Tondi
I did that
to...
intentionally. No, I did that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
This moment is in no way proudly sponsored by ICE.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Any party.
Nothing.
Look, I didn't wear this shirt on purpose, by the way. I didn't.
One
party.
Yeah. But it sort of signifies, like,
Come on.
we're one race, the only race that matters, the human
the
race.
human race.
That being said, we gained 20 subscribers
That's amazing.
since our last show.
Which
That's
is amazing.
fantastic.
That's
I'm not saying it's our show that's doing it, but I think it is our show that's
No,
doing
it's
it.
okay. You can say it, bro.
So it's
No,
our
no.
show that's doing it.
Yeah.
you know what? Let me
Alright.
be a little bit preachy on you guys.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
The rabbis.
Rabbi?
As you know, we are all stewards.
Okay.
This is not our show.
Come on.
It is the Lord's show. Now show
I feel
me.
like I need a keyboard up
Come
in
on.
here.
The point
No.
the point is the cross. Come on.
Oh,
somebody.
yeah,
Come
going
on.
back to the cross.
There
Let's
we go.
No, but it's, I mean, it is our show.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that we get to see this, and we need to celebrate those small wins, you know.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that
definitely.
you brought that up. So that's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, when something that you've mentioned earlier is that three of us are different backgrounds, different
Yeah.
cultures, and we're able to sit here together and have conversation and, you know, be able to be in one room, talk about it, and learn from each other. I think
Yeah.
the last time, 2 weeks ago when you spoke about imposter syndrome, it was really great to see how it comes across between the three of us and how we see it. But also there's something that's pretty dominant about the three of us where we find ourselves.
Yeah. Other than cultures.
Other than culture,
yeah.
there's something that clearly there's like three different lines where we find ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think kind of catching on that bandwagon of Miguel going into relationship talks, we have three different stages. You're currently dating.
Step number one.
Step number one.
Dating. Yeah.
Or arguably step number 2.
Yes.
Sort of preparing yourself to date.
Alright.
They always say that Craig Groeschel... no, I've got a point. No, wait. I have a point. So Craig Groeschel says that we are to become the person we want to date. So we need to prepare ourselves to be what he deems dateable.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
that
so
whole
that's-
statement of be the person you're
You
looking
wa-
for is looking for.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So then you would be now. So that would be now step number 1.
Yes. Let's say, in my eyes, that could possibly be step number 1.
Okay.
In layman's terms, single.
Okay, yeah, single.
Okay, cool,
now in this context, amongst the three of us,
Yes.
our level.
Okay.
Okay, step
fair.
number 1 would be dating.
Okay.
I'm
So
dating.
you're
Cool.
currently dating.
Yeah.
Who are you dating, just by the way?
A lady.
I'm dating a lady.
A lady that
I'm joking.
he
I'm
loves.
dating. I'm dating
Pause.
someone that's very special to me. Her name is Ngere.
Oh,
And
okay.
man,
Check the tone changes.
you know what I'm saying, bro. I miss her so much. She's all the way in Venda right now.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Let's get off of it. This guy's about to like walk off set just now.
Yeah, he misses it.
I might as
About to
well.
start a journey to Venda.
Someone
like
booked me a plane ticket to Venda, bro.
Las Vendas.
You know what I'm saying?
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And then you're in another stage. You're currently engaged.
That's right, yeah. I'm engaged to get married in, I think it's
Wait a
like
minute.
25 days.
25 days.
I think it's 25
yeah,
days.
That deserves a bell, bro. In 25 days.
Yeah, so
That's amazing.
soon, very soon,
That's like around the corner, bro.
literally.
Are you ready?
I believe I'm
Are you
ready. yeah.
nervous?
I'm very nervous.
What are you nervous about?
Just for everything.
Ooh. For everything.
you being the third stage.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm curious to find out what
Okay.
you're nervous about.
Well, maybe you can alleviate my nerves a bit.
No, bro.
I don't know.
Yes.
So who are you engaged to?
I'm engaged to Taylor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I believe she's watching right now.
Uh-huh.
And she was tailor made for you.
Check.
Hallelujah.
Oh, it's changing. He's
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
just
it's
starting to start
Yeah, there's a
changing.
turn that.
He's just starting to get smooth. Look at that. He's
Ooh.
getting uncomfortable. Taylor, what are you doing to
Let's
Dylan?
go, Taylor. Look at the man. He's blushing.
I am. It's
evident.
getting quite warm in here, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, it's getting quite warm
The
in
aircon
here.
is, it's off.
Yeah, it's off at the moment.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's
So
fine.
dating, engaged,
Engaged.
and I'm currently married.
Let's go, big
Nice.
papa.
Strong, bro. 3 years.
3 years. I like how you
yeesh.
pushed your wedding ring as well for
Yeah,
Yeah,
emphasis.
trying to make sure that you see it. Let's get a
Nice.
close up on that ring.
It's
You know
real.
you know what's crazy? This is something I'm starting to enjoy. Is that if I take
Okay.
it off, there's even a tan.
Nice.
Show. This is
Yeah.
not like the 2 days ago type
Yeah.
of thing.
It's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's been,
you know.
it's been there. It's been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
And
this
that's
is,
beautiful. Who are you married to, bro?
man, I'm married to my beautiful wife,
Hey.
Kgosi Rankhumise.
Come on.
Let's
somebody.
go. Come
If you're
on.
watching, babe, I don't worry. I'll be home just now.
Ooh.
And he loves you.
Please just leave that door open.
That's the thing. It wasn't closed.
No, I mean, obviously, when you get home, the door is.
You're going to open it.
Okay.
No, you lost me there.
Anyway,
You lost me
moving
there.
right along.
The train went right
Just went
past
right
us.
by. But I think there's something beautiful about the different stages that we find ourselves
Yeah,
in.
definitely.
In the way we kind of experience the similar things, but it's about how you view it in the different stages that we're at, in the different
Yeah.
stages of relationship.
Sure.
Today, I wanna go right there. You
Okay.
know, because I mean, when we spoke about the whole thing with Miguel earlier on today,
Yeah.
it was just that thing of, man, like after 14 years, they get married for 3 years,
And
that's
then
it.
this
What
happens.
happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
And I think it's that discussion of conflict, like that crazy in a marriage, like or in a relationship,
Sure.
like because I mean that happens, bro.
I mean, I gotta say, I mean, like speaking from a dating perspective, you know, you still go through things. Yes, dating, you know, there's not that commitment like marriage has. I mean, there's still a commitment, 100%. And I think it's the same commitment, just that with marriage, it intensifies it in the sense that it's forever together.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and we've sealed the deal in front of God. We've sealed the deal with the law. You know, so it's just like dating God's way. Like, you know, like where I am right now is just in the sense of I'm committed to this person.
Yeah.
And things get rough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Look, I mean, there's a new term I picked up on Twitter that they call ladies the Eve gang.
Yeah.
The Eve gang is quite something.
Eve gang.
Eve gang.
Okay.
Eve, you know, Adam and Eve.
Oh,
Eve
okay,
gang.
okay.
They can get quite intense, and the truth is, we're so different.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of navigating those areas of finding out those differences. Or you prefer it this way, I prefer it that way. I see things that way, you see things that way. Someone once made a joke. They were like, you get married, you're all happy, and you move into the house, and the first night or first week, you're fighting over the stupid things. One, does the toilet paper go this way or
that way, yeah.
Which,
Sure.
by the way, I mean, I'm glad my wife and I agree on
Catch
that.
it on the next episode. What's the fuss?
The toothpaste. Do you squeeze it or do you push it out?
Yo, I've heard that toothpaste one, eh?
Man, it's a serious topic. Yeah. And the dishes. Do you do the dishes after you eat before you sit? Or do you eat, chill, let the food go down, then you do the dishes?
Sure.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah,
A whole lot of little things that are big things.
Yeah.
Because then if there's like two different point of views
Right.
about them based on experience, obviously, it's just like, whose way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and someone is like, my way or the highway. And it's just
Basically.
like, but
Yeah.
the highway leads me back to you because,
Yeah.
you know, we're in this together. We're just
We're on the
right
same
here.
highway.
We're on the same, you know what I mean? And I mean, but like I totally feel you, you know, and I think we all share something. There's a thread like you were mentioning earlier on, because at the same time, it's like love and relationships get real. And it's about like navigating those differences because we're two different people, but at the same time, there's something beautiful about two different people coming together intentionally and consciously and saying, I want to be with you. And the other person saying, I want to be with you too. And here you are working it out together. And it's a challenge. I don't know for you how that has been now that you're at a point of engaging.
And it's different.
Yeah.
I mean, is it different between dating and when you're engaged now?
Yeah, for me, there was definitely like a sit reg oop.
Yes, sure.
Like, that's not the right sit reg up.
Op.
And, op, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, readjust your posture because I realized like the route we're going now is a highway that only has one off-ramp, and the off-ramp we passed.
Sure.
It's like how I thought about it. But I saw this cool I saw this cool teaching from a gentleman that I really enjoy. He's preaching books. He does podcasts as well. John Mark Comer. He's a pastor and an author, right? And this he had like 5-minute video that he put out, I might add, 8 years ago on YouTube.
Sure.
I somehow stumbled onto it. And he says, why marriage, basically? And he gives you 5 very basic steps, but 2 of them that really stuck with me. He said, first of all, the blanket statement, he said, if the point, and this actually alludes to marriage and just a relationship. He said, if the point of a relationship is the relationship, it's going to self-destruct. And if the point of marriage is the marriage, it's going to self-destruct. Because God didn't intend for marriage to be marriage in and of itself. He intended us to have a friendship with someone for the rest of our life. That's ultimately what he wants. He wants husband and wife to be very good friends, the best of friends, actually. And 2, he has this term he calls gardening, which basically means Adam and Eve were created in a garden, right? Which was a very intimate space.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that the context they were in, obviously there was no one else around them because they were the only 2 on earth. But it was just such a cool example of how they were so devoted to one another. You can imagine if you're in the garden, it was going to be one of those things like with Taylor and I, we sort of decide, okay, what are we going to eat? And we don't even live together yet. You know, we just see each other now and then we decide, okay, what are we going to eat? And then I have to figure out, okay, am I going to cook it? Is she going to cook it? You know these things, right? Yeah. Whereas if you're in the garden, it's like, okay, Eve must go and pick X, Y, and Z. Adam must go and collect, you know, what have you. So it's that gardening term where it's an intimate space with each other, but you're ultimately helping each other grow. So that was really cool, that example. But for myself, I can't really speak for everyone, but for me, shifting from dating to being engaged, as soon as I was on my knee and put the ring on the finger, I was like, okay, now, hier gaan ons. Ja, hier kom het in. Yeah, literally. Then I was like, okay. then it settled in. And I already know, like I've been asked so many times, are we ready for the big day? Are we ready for the big day? I'm nervous. And the reason I'm nervous is because I think it's gonna all hit me a few days before. Like this is happening now. It's no longer in 24 days.
This
Yeah,
is it.
this is it right now.
This is it.
There's no more planning to propose.
No,
the
this is
proposal has been done
Everything's
already.
been done.
This is it.
Yeah, this is it. So I'm excited for the third stage.
Yeah.
You know.
I actually remember that time, a couple of weeks, or I can't remember how long before the wedding, where I got into that place. I was just like, dude, like, Kgosi, what's going on? I'm like, this is it, bro. And I'm like, I know. What am I doing?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I mean, it's not like I don't love her. I love her. It's just,
What am I doing?
man, what are you doing? Like, because it just gets so crazy because you realize the seriousness, the weight of that decision. But I think I love what you said there. The key thing that's important in there is that communion, that relating with each other.
Yeah.
You know, if there's a couple of people that I've spoken to that were like single, and they wanted to get in relationships, and I'm like, don't date because you like the idea of being with someone.
Yeah.
You see, because then that eventually it fades.
It fades,
It
true.
fades eventually, and when it's tested, eventually it's gonna be hollow. It's gonna be shallow.
Sure.
Once that area is tested, because then you're gonna have to choose that person beyond how they make you feel when they just look at you, beyond how they look physically.
Sure.
Because eventually all of that's gonna go. All of that's gonna go with time. Those things, I'm not saying don't look for someone who looks appealing to the eye. Please don't get me wrong. Make sure she looks like your helpmate. But I'm just going to leave it there. You can fill in the blanks. But those are not the things that we hold on to, because when we go through these different seasons, ultimately that thing, it's not the key thing.
Sure.
It's not the main point.
You're right. I think it comes down to just having that foundation. Speaking about like that old friendship. Amongst the two, because at the end of the day, it's like you always have to have something to fall back to, man.
Right.
There's God, but there's that friendship as well. That's just like you just want to hang out with your person,
Yeah.
You want to be able to just speak, and like with friendship, you just want to be able to be honest and real with each other,
Right.
Without it being judgmental or anything like that. You know how it is when you have a friend, you can literally pick up a phone and be like, "Yo, friend. Yo, guess what, man? I just feel terrible.
Yeah.
I did this. I feel terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And having your partner as a friend in that
As
kind of
that
way,
person,
because you can just reach out. You can just talk about anything.
Yeah.
And I think for me as well, like I'm in a relationship where we have this thing called no bottles, right? And no bottles is basically saying we aren't going to hold back from being transparent.
Nice.
We're gonna open up to each other. We're gonna speak.
So you don't bottle it.
You don't bottle it.
That's really
no
cool.
bottles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Note that down, son.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna take notes of that.
Notes of
That is
that
good.
one.
Yeah, because it's so
No
important.
bottles.
So coming down to like happy things, sad things, hurtful things, it's like we're learning to navigate and communicate with each other, and that builds trust. Like the same thing with a friendship. A friendship that has depth is a friendship where both parties are open to each other,
Right.
and they communicate even those parts that are just like, I don't know what this person will do with this information.
Yeah.
They might judge me. They might share it with someone else without my permission. That's breaking trust. But at the same time, they do it either way because you're building that trust. And obviously, it's a step-by-step process.
Of course.
It wasn't just like that, on day one, but we had to build it.
It's funny that he says this, because my wife and I actually spoke about this, where we realized, I said this to her, I'm like, okay, look, people get to the altar and they say their vows, and like, I can't believe I married my best friend. And I was like, I love you, but I'm not in a space where I'm saying you're my best friend.
Yeah.
And
Wait.
it was like,
Honesty.
And the thing about that, is because, and I remember internally having to say that, because I didn't want to feel like I'm tied to the pressure of, if it's not your best friend.
Sure, I get you.
And now, soon after we got married, I was like, I'm starting to develop this thing of you becoming my best friend. I love you. There's no one else. There's no one sits in the corner that you have in my heart. No one. And that's why I'll commit to marrying you.
Sure.
But I'm developing and growing into this thing of friendship with you.
Sure.
Prior to being married, I didn't always, every time it's great, I'm like, hey, where's she at? Sometimes I'll think my friends.
Sure.
I mean, for real.
Yeah. And that's
Sometimes I'll
real
be like,
talk.
yeah, I'll tell her afterwards. I'm thinking, where's my boys?
Yeah.
But now, after, let's take 3 years, there's moments I'm just like, man, actually, no, where's my wife?
Sure.
And it's growing on to me, which I remember that statement, like you were saying, that whole friendship thing. For me, before, it was just like, but Kgosi, can you, without a shadow of a doubt, say she's your best friend?
Sure.
I'm like, I can't.
And at the
But
same time,
it doesn't steal from my love for her.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's okay for certain things to grow. You see, like that. I mean, she was your friend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But saying best friend, obviously that's a big statement. That's why you don't just go around saying everyone is your best friend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can have a lot of friends, but best friend is just like, it's reserved for someone that you feel like you have such a deep connection with, and that has built, that has been built over time as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And so I feel like that's real, and her being able to understand as well that okay, he's not at that place yet, but we are still growing.
Yeah.
We're still
Yeah.
working at it.
Yeah.
And I think that's just commendable.
Yeah.
That's amazing, bro. And I
Yeah.
think it's been amazing to see it over the years develop to where it is now. You know, I get to enjoy it so much more. And it's not the term for the sake of the term.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you must be married to your best friend, and then I'm just like under this pressure of oh damn.
Yeah.
But instead, it's a thing of no. Actually, I see in my heart how that shift is happening.
Sure.
And I chose you before this. Now I'm choosing you a whole lot more.
Come on.
Because this is developing and
Yeah.
definitely forming.
Yeah.
I read a post the other day. I think I shared it with you guys.
Did you?
That
I'm joking.
I probably did. I probably did. There's this post I read, and they were talking about when you marry someone. But I'd love for us to chat about maybe 3 of the, I think there's 7 things, and how we see it and how you relate to it in the different stages. It says when you marry someone, you marry their trauma,
Sure.
you marry their unconscious beliefs, you marry their coping mechanisms.
Wow.
Okay, I'm going to read all of them and we'll tackle 3. Number
Sure.
4, you marry their learned communication patterns. You marry their ego. You marry their inner child. And you marry their patterns.
Sure.
And you know, I remember when I saw this, my wife sent this to me and I was like, yo. Because I think what's so deep is what we said, there's 2 people coming together to journey together and dating, engaged, or married.
Right.
But I was like looking at this and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even know these things for me, about me. Like, I don't know what my coping mechanisms are. I don't know what my unconscious beliefs are.
Right.
You know, let's take something like the best friend thing. I might be coming from a place of, I don't know, years ago, I went through whatever trauma, and I'm just like, yeah, actually, no best friend. No best friend.
Yeah.
Nothing. You ain't my best friend.
Sure.
Even though I'm actually feeling what I would classify as it, but I don't know.
Phew.
So I want to find out what you guys think about it. Looking at maybe the first 3, their unconscious beliefs, their trauma, and their coping mechanisms as
Wow.
something that you get into a relationship with.
Something I want to do, just point out, we're coming to the end on radio,
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're going to be going to focus on the family now, and I think it's just so cool because when I think marriage advice, parenting guidance, having good friends around you, literally anything in your life,
Anything, bro.
Focus on the Family does
It's
such
the
a good job.
plug.
Yeah.
True.
The plug,
Like,
basically.
it is.
Their website's safamily.co.za, and if you hit / marriage, there's like, I mean, I couldn't even count how many different articles there are.
I like live on those podcasts.
Literally.
Yeah, you were
there's-
just
and there's
sharing this
podcasts,
morning.
yeah, and there's programs and everything. So we're going to be crossing to their program on Impact Radio, but here on Impact Online, we're
gonna
still going to
continue.
carry on
Still
on
carrying on
YouTube.
with chats, yeah.
So we'd really love it if you could move over. If you're only listening on radio, you can move over to the YouTube channel. You can hit that subscribe button because this is something that we're really enjoying, and
Yeah.
you'll get to be able to see how much we're enjoying it
Sure.
Yeah.
by how our faces look as well. But I think,
see the
yeah,
house.
that's such a key thing that you really brought up. And to identify that in yourself, that's why I always thought about what Craig Groeschel said about dealing with yourself first.
Sure.
You know, it's almost like you can't expect God to reap a harvest out of you if you're not willing to, is it called toiling? Or
Yeah, you're not willing
we
to toil, yeah.
your soil, right?
Yeah.
You're not willing to
Till the soil,
Toil,
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
till the
till the
soil.
soil.
You're not ready to turn it over and get all the
sure.
bad stuff out and get it ripe and ready to have seeds planted.
Yeah.
Right? So that's sort of, I understand that, where you need to identify, first of all, who is Kgosi,
Sure.
you know? And I think I respect that, where you said to your wife that I can't actually call you my best friend. You know, I'm not really at that, which, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's about
For
being honest and
Lord
real.
knows what reasons.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing. Like the point that you raised now, when you mentioned all those things, my first thought was, these are things I need to ask myself.
Yeah.
Before I ask
Before I try to figure out the other person.
Before I try to figure out the other person. You know what I'm saying? Before I try to think of it from a perspective of, I'm getting married to this person who has this and this and this and this. I need to be thinking, she's getting married to me with this and this and this and this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, like you were saying, like, you don't know all those things, but then it brings us to a point where, when we started, you mentioned about the first step or the first level being when you're single, your preparation to dating or to being in a relationship. And that's when we need to sit down with ourselves, sit down with God, and answer some of these questions for ourselves, to say, what are some of my traumas which I'm going to carry into this relationship that I so badly want and I'm praying for? What are some of my coping mechanisms? I think for me personally, starting with me, is being in a relationship. As much as I've done some of those things before, asking myself some of those questions, but you don't really get to uncover every single thing. And it's only when you get into a relationship that some of those things start being start coming out. The light shines on it, because now there's someone who brings them out of you. If it makes sense. Because outside of a relationship, when you're just single and you're amongst friends, some of those things won't come out because there's no one fit to test them.
And it's easier to hide them.
And it's so easy to hide them.
It's easy to hide them. It's easy to dodge them.
But your partner will see it right through you, and they'll call it out. Oh, yes. And, you know, so best believe. And
so
I think,
graciously, they'll call it out. Oh, yes, they will.
Call it out.
and that's something that I can be real about, and I appreciate so much. Even with my girl, with my lady, I appreciate it so much. The fact that prior to her, I had always heard that, oh, you're such a good boy, you're such a nice guy, and all those things. And being in a relationship, I'm like, no, I'm not such a good boy. Because I've come to a place where I've faltered. You know, I've said what I shouldn't have said, or how I shouldn't have said it. You know, I've acted out of character. And that has just shown me that I still need God's grace. I still need to grow some more. And God has put me in this relationship, and now I get to see that for myself, and I'm aware of it. And I'm open as well. I remember when Jesus was asked, or someone said to Jesus, you are such a good man. And he said, who, me? I'm a good man? He's like, no, the only one who's good is the one who is in me.
Amen.
And that for me was such a powerful statement, because so many times we get commended for, oh, Dylan, you're such a good boy. And then one day someone will see you, after hearing that you're such a good boy, acting out of character, and they'll be like,
And then they're like,
because they put you all the way up. And then that one day where you act out of character, then it's just like, oh, I can't believe Dylan did this. But it's just like, we are human beings, we're flawed. You know, but we can at least be aware of our flaws and ask God for His grace to help us to keep on growing. And relationships will do that. Hey, they will solve you.
Hey, man, they will till that soil, bro. They will till that soil. And I think what you're saying is so true, is that reflection, that moment of inner reflection, that inner dialogue that you have to say, what are those things? Or even when you get to that point where they till that soil, and you have to in there with all of our manly pride at its peak, testosterone working overtime,
Literally,
and you have to inside be like, okay, but what's actually going on?
Sure.
Is it a you thing? Are you actually struggling with something? Why are you actually angry? Is it because she doesn't want things your way? Meaning, are you trying to are you imposing your perspective, and it must be your way because it's your marriage? Or is it really an issue of, I just don't see it that way, or I just don't understand what you mean, you know? And that takes a lot, man. But I truly believe it's something that I mentioned to you guys earlier. I think I heard it on Focus on My Family, where they were saying it's as if God created the institution of marriage, literally, to pluck out selfishness. Wow. It's like, as long as you're in there, your selfish nature is going to die. And the longer you stay, the more it's going to die.
The more it has to.
Like, you'll be married 40 years, but still die. There's still so much, because you spend so much time. Let's take for where you are now. It's you. There's elements of you that your girl will see, but there's elements that you're still able to just keep in a nice folder sitting in a corner. There's a point where, when it gets crazy, you're able to be like, you know what? I think I should go home. You go home, you just park it nicely there. nicely folded in the cupboard. But then when you're with someone on a higher level of commitment, e.g. marriage, those things will be tested because you're both in that. It's like someone was asking. It's like, why is it that we're more likely to express more grace to somebody else than what we are to our partner?
Oh,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And their response was
yeah.
like, because we're in the same canoe, so then we realize that their wrongdoing affects this canoe so much more. So therefore, we're harsher
That's
on
a
them.
very good example.
We actually should be thinking, but because we're in the same canoe, this person is like committed to this.
Yeah.
So actually, I should be showing them a whole lot more grace.
Sure.
You know,
Wow.
it's crazy, bro.
That
And
is
it's so
such a good
crazy.
example.
And it's so crazy because like when you end up thinking about it, they don't show us more grace like they do to the people outside of the canoe, like you put it, because you're so intimate and close, and you guys are in love, and what you do, the little thing, is so amplified because there's this love involved that the person outside of the canoe does not have.
Yeah.
They can easily just be like, it doesn't bother me. But for you, because you're in this relationship, every single thing will affect it so much more, affect them so much more.
Yeah.
So that's why everything is like heightened, you know?
Yeah, that's,
so
so true, bro. That's like so true.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a weird one. And I know for me, with where we are now, it's a constant decision of learning to say, like, to take a moment, pause,
Yeah.
assess,
Sure.
and be able to move forward. Sometimes it works. Sometimes a little too hard-headed. This thing is a little too hard, and I need to learn the hard way. And the hard way being in a dialogue with the Holy Spirit, just being like, bro,
Sure.
what is that about?
Come on. That's really good,
Like,
man.
that was not it.
Yeah.
But you know what's beautiful? The beautiful thing, and it's something that happened a couple of weeks ago, and I remember that moment so clearly. We had a moment, we were out with friends, we had a moment where we had a disagreement. And later when we left to go home, in the car, we spoke about what happened. Like, nah, this is what I saw. This is how it made me feel. This is what you saw. How I made it feel. No, about this. Back and forth. And eventually, by the time we got home, we leveled it out.
Sure.
This is the way we're going to do things moving forward. Because if you do it this way, I don't appreciate it. But I'll also be aware that if I do things this way, you don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're cool. And in that moment, I was like, and this conversation, this is downright me choosing you.
Sure.
Nice.
You know, the breakfast, the date nights is nice. Hey, what are we making? Oh, I'm gonna buy our favorite meal. It's nice.
Sure.
But it's in those trenches where you know, like, yeah, like you're in, like, there's everybody and you're like crossing that line where I'm willfully saying, come on the other side of the line.
Yeah.
I'm choosing you.
Yeah.
You know, which I think, you know, if I look back at dating, you have those invitations. And it's just like, okay, but how do I deal with it?
Sure.
Because you're always aware of how it's not marriage. But at the same time, you're not treating it like it's
nothing.
So it's
like it's
aimless.
just
Yeah,
you still have a sense of responsibility and accountability and the seriousness of your commitment, even when you're just dating, because it really is someone that you've chosen to be with.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Charo?
So a cool example with Michael W. Smith and his wife Debbie, and they chatted about, they were celebrating. This was a couple of years ago. They were celebrating, I think it was 26 or 27 years or something like that.
Sure.
I think it may be more than that, obviously now being a few years. But regardless of the point, that what they think, the example and the covenant of marriage, right, is their belief that it's God's design. And Michael W. Smith put it clearly. He said, covenant means that you sign a dotted line, that nothing comes in the way of that. Once you put your name down there on that contract. Yes, it's a physical representation, but for them it's a spiritual commitment for the rest of their life.
Sure.
And they're going to say marriage is a picture of what the church is in relationship to God. And Debbie says it's a solemn and holy thing. It's God's plan for society, and it's to unite a man and a woman. The way that Bible portrays marriage is his plan for the world, obviously being God's plan for the world. And it's like how they went on in this article. It was a sort of a testimony that they were giving, Michael W. Smith was giving. And he says, to keep our romance alive, we have to make it a priority. Busyness can sweep us away, and all of a sudden we start to have a communication breakdown. And the key is to get a one-on-one time together. So they do what they call date nights. Not necessarily, it's not always with candles and a lovely dinner and stuff, but it's a night where they literally just whether it's to iron things out, like you and your wife did in the car after that evening with your friends, or it is literally just to purposefully take 2 hours, what have you, and just portray your love to each other. Chat more deeply than you do day to day. Because what he was noticing after so many years is like, you get so busy, you have to sort the kids out, you start snapping at each other little bits here and there, and then eventually a date night will never happen. And I mean, I don't want to unpack your clothing that you're busy trying to unpack yourself for you, but you were talking about that with us earlier as we were sort of prepping for the show today. And I'd like for you to maybe just, in your own experience with you and your wife.
I think the beautiful thing for me personally, it's just that realization that date night is going back to one, sow seed and keep watering that seed of the relationship. There's so many things that eventually happen around the relationship, but ultimately it's the two of you. And it's easy to fall into the pattern of, but she knows I love her.
Sure.
I mean, I know she loves me. It's all right, let's keep going. But I remember the statement, hearing it a lot before we were married, where it's like, never stop dating your wife. I'm like, yeah. But then life happens, and then you realize, oh, shucks.
Yeah.
And then those date nights, or knee to knee, or just moments where it's just the two of you, no distractions, nothing happening aside, become so valuable because they keep watering that little area in both of you that actually brought you together.
Sure.
That it's so easy that so many things can consume it and eventually just make you forget about it. I mean, we've seen this in more relaxed relationships with friends, with family that we haven't seen in a while. We know we love them.
Yeah.
But ultimately, because of life happening, there's this weird distance happening. So when you see them at the next family gathering, like, yo, I was like, so what are you doing? And I mean, the reason you're having that conversation is because you love them.
I love the pause where neither of you know
what to say
next,
to each
like,
other. It's just like,
and everything in you is telling you, hey, this is the cousin that I love. Man, we used to man, we got like crazy memories. But because of life, and it started to steal at that, though you feel it, now there's nothing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, no, they're calling me that side. Yeah, I'll check it out just now. Yeah.
You even try to find a way to dodge the conversation. You're just like, I don't know what to say.
I don't know. And ultimately, it's easy to then experience that in the same household. One other thing, because you're in the same house, those things don't exist. But actually, no, quite the contrary, they do. And it takes a whole lot more work to deny life, world, plans for the marriage, plans for career growth to advance the marriage, and all of these things. It's easy for those things to swallow it. There's a man, he's in his 60s, man, and he said this to me a couple of months ago. He looked at his friend who passed away, and he said, this man worked so hard, past his time of retirement, working hard for his wife. And every single time I went to his house to go fix something, he was never there. I always found my wife alone. And I couldn't understand it. And fast forward now, him and his wife, they're gone. And they never got to enjoy what he was building towards.
Yo.
And I was like, and this is what he said to me. He says, go for it. And do it. Do anything and everything with your wife. Build that. Because all of these things can consume you so much that at the end of it, you realize that, shucks, actually, we didn't get to do anything together. The kids come. But those kids are going to go. And once they've left, what's left in the house?
Sure.
We've seen that a couple of times with a lot of families where the kids move out and then the marriage is like awkward because it's like, or the marriage stays intact for the sake of the kids.
Sure.
Because there isn't a relationship. Yeah, man.
It just teaches you that sometimes it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
Saying no to ambition for the sake of your relationship. For prioritizing, like what you're saying. I mean, the man was ambitious, right? He was going after all those things, and he was doing it for a great reason. For his wife. But it's that whole thing of why gain the whole world if you're going to lose your soul?
Yeah.
It's like there's all these things to gain, but then there's this thing that you hold to a high regard and esteem, but then you're doing all those things and then forsaking this one thing that you say you hold to in high regard. So it's just like at the end of the day, we need to be able to say, no, I don't actually need to go take up this job or this gig. I don't need to go to this place. Oh, I'm being invited by a friend. This weekend, I can say no. Just so I can spend my time with my wife or my girl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we need to show it. I love that there's a song by John Mayer. and it's called "Love Is a Verb."
Yeah.
Such a beautiful short song, and basically what it's saying is that love is action.
Yeah.
You can tell your wife that I love you every single day, but she will get to a point where she's not feeling it. And then that will be a problem because she wants to experience it. And not even just the wife, but even I as a man, I want to experience love.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that we alluded to earlier as well. The fact that sometimes we always see affection as a woman's thing. We always see love as a woman's thing. But no, as a man, I want to be loved, man.
Wants to be loved.
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm emotional. I want my
wants to
emotions to
be
be fed too.
wooed.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want to feel it. I want to know that my girl loves me. You know, I want to know that my partner loves me in that way. And I think it's important that both of us are able to sacrifice certain things.
Yeah.
To be able to choose each other. That's what happens when you choose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, no.
Now it eventually sounds like we're extra time of focus on the family, but it's not. But there was another episode of Focus on the Family I was listening to, and the guy was saying every no is a yes to something else.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
every yes is a
Wow.
no to something else.
Wow.
So when you say yes to other things, you're saying no to family time.
Yeah.
Sure.
When you say no to other things, you're saying yes to family time. And it's just that mindset of, no, actually, no, I can't make it. I mean, I've got nothing happening by calendar, but I've got something else happening.
Yeah.
I'm swimming back into that. Man, even if we just sit and we binge watch Netflix the whole day, it's fine. It's time spent with you.
Sure.
You know, that definitely goes to something else. Every no is a yes to something else, and every yes is a no to something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Hey, this is what it's about, right? When we did the first episode, we said that the lounge is the idea that we take topics that are close to all of our hearts, things that, experiences that we've all had, experiences
Yeah.
that we're still all going through,
Yeah.
and just being real with one another, also being real with everyone watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it was so cool to just have another episode, which it feels like we could actually talk about this
Yeah.
forever. I
We
guess
could
it's one
go
of those
on
things.
and on, yeah. We still have all those things to touch on that Kgosi brought up.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, all those
loads
things
of
that you mentioned, you know.
Yeah,
So,
hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing, bro, before we wrap up, I think one thing that I realized looking back, if I think about now being married, now having the stuff that I'm able to equip myself more with, you focus on the family and whatever else. Now looking back at the engaged stage and the dating stage,
Yeah.
I realized just how much there's societal pressure of how these stages should look.
sure.
Yo.
Sure.
Like that
That's
there's
good.
I mean, you guys have been dating for just over a year, if I'm not
Over a
mistaken.
year, yeah.
Over a year. So, I mean, any second now, people are going to start being like, so, I mean, when you
Yeah,
get
we're
married,
probably
you
in
know?
the kitchen. Yeah.
Child, don't tell me
Things
about
and
it.
then
Don't-
listen.
Bruh.
I'm not asking you. Don't
No,
feel the
I know,
pressure.
I know you're not asking me. I'm just saying.
My
I'm
boy's
just
about to say, like,
reacting.
man, I'm about to leave right
I
now.
know that too. Like, I'm walking out.
Yeah. Don't you come with that.
I mean, it's soon after that he gets that question.
Yeah.
And when he gets that question, there's the expectation that when he proposes, it's this grand thing. And then after the proposal, that the wedding is this grand thing. After you get proposed and get married, marriage is this grand Instagram ready.
No, up to marriage. When is the
Traveling.
baby
Where's the
coming?
baby? Where's the second baby? Where's the
Where's the
third-
grandchildren?
Where's the money for the babies? How's
Give me
about
the
that?
money.
Give me the money. Like, what? You know, and it's just that realization now when I look back of seeing how there's this societal picture that's been put out
Yeah.
in terms of how these three stages should look. And if anything, for me personally, being in marriage, I'm able to say, sure, Lord, how you've set a great example for how marriage is. I mean, that's a deep example. Christ loved the church. That's
Sure.
like a deep, like, man, I try every day. Like,
Yeah.
But being able to look back at these stages and be like, man, how imprisoning those stages was, how hectic and how heavy it was to
Yeah.
feel like, okay, in my dating, am I buying her flowers? Am I
Sure.
taking her out as often?
Yeah.
How many times do I take her far away? How many times do I pay for her hair, her nails? Do I surprise her with knock at the door in the office and this huge bouquet of flowers? But it's like, but those things are, it's,
Sure.
I've always said they are an expression of my love. They're not a reflection of my love. It comes, I love you, I fall in love with you, and as a result, I can't help but I don't do that, and then therefore the love follows. You know,
Sure.
When I go out and I don't know, pray for someone who's sick, I don't do that to show the Lord that I love him. It's because I love him that I can't help but pray for someone who's sick.
Come on.
I'm
flows
compelled
out
to
of
do
that
it.
place, yeah.
You know, you go out and you just like, can my partner come? No. actually, then I don't want to come.
Sure.
Not because I'm being weird or I'm trying to be the perfect couple. It's because, like, no, man, my love for her compels me to say I want her here.
Yeah, I want to be with her.
So it's just crazy.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it as you're wrapping up, that weird societal weight
Sure.
that it puts on, like, when you're dating, where it's like, okay, but I don't see you guys going out very often. Why don't I see your pictures on Instagram where you're engaged? It's like, okay, but when is the wedding? It's gotta be perfect.
Sure.
And the pressure, you gotta be a man now. You know, all these things.
Also, like
Skill.
I like that you brought it up, and I'll be brief with this. But like, you're probably watching right now, you know, and you know about this as well. But Twitter can be toxic. Twitter can be so toxic.
And
you know
Instagram,
what?
bro.
And Instagram as well. But with Twitter, what I'm saying is, you'll find ladies or people or guys, you know, just conversations around, if your man does not do this for you,
Red flag.
Yeah, for example, and it's like I don't know, I find it stupid. Like the examples or the things that they put up are just like, for real? Like, if it doesn't send you money to do your nails, for example. Red flag. I'm like,
Imagine.
come on, why is that the standard?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying, it should be done out of love, and it shouldn't be like a standard thing that if you're dating me, then you have to do my nails. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it's like, I want to treat you, babe.
Yeah.
You know, I love you. Oh, I noticed that maybe you're missing this. I want to get this for you.
Yeah.
Not, babe, we're in a relationship. You have to do this for me. You know? Or even as
So
guys.
and so when they dating, they do this. Why don't you do it for me?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
My mama used to answer me when I said, "But ma, why didn't you buy me the phone? Whoever's friends, mom bought the phone." Like, okay, well, go live with them.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna say that in dating, well, then go date them.
That's the thing. The thing is, even now, as I'm saying this, obviously we're impersonating like ladies' voice, right? But then even as guys, we can be so demanding sometimes. Like, not even sometimes, we have expectations that is like, if you're dating me, you have to do this for me. But it's like, no. Then ladies should be able to do things for you out of love and not because you demand it or you have these expectations. At least if you both have expectations, communicate your expectations and hear from each other. Are you cool about this? You know, it shouldn't be like, oh, you have to do my laundry. No.
Culture's never tailor-made to your circumstances, your upbringing, your battles, your issues, your realities, and your upbringing. Culture will never be tailored to that. And being forced to mold to something that doesn't take those things into account, that doesn't take into account that, for example, Tondi might be having to look after all his brothers and send them money every month. But it's like, but why isn't he buying her flowers? Bro, flowers is the least of the worries. She's impressed at the fact that he's man enough to actually take care of his family. She's just like, what? I'm going to marry that guy. Because, man, he's loving his family. How much more will he love me? Culture doesn't take these things into consideration. And it unfortunately puts a weight. And social media is just expediting the whole process.
Sorry, big boss.
That's crazy, actually.
Adjudicator, over to you, bro.
One planet, one party. Let's go.
We're the one party over here. We're the one party.
Local government elections coming up. Don't
forget to register. Hashtag not sponsored. Hashtag if you know someone we can get sponsored, that's
Krispy
fine as
Kreme,
well.
please send us donuts.
Yeah, send us donuts if you can. Yeah, gents, it was awesome.
It was fantastic.
It's so cool to, I guess, for us all just to share our hearts, our understanding. That's what it is at the end of the day. This isn't a textbook definition of what you should do from A to B, you know, and we're very honest in our position in life. We're authentic to where we are at the moment. I'm not married yet, right? I haven't been married for 3 years. Kgosi doesn't have kids. So that's a stage that's still to come. You know, Tondi is
I'm still in a relationship,
dating. And I just love how we can all just share from those places. And we're going to I'm sure we have loads of topics that we're going to cover. And it's going to always attribute to our own personal stories, testimonies. Something that's always stood with me is you can try and argue the Bible to someone. Say it's an atheist, right? You're trying to argue the existence of God. That person could be hard-headed. They won't believe a word you're saying. They could say that book was written years ago. It's not applicable, what have you. Many of these lines that they use. But they can't rob you of your testimony. They can't rob you of your story. They can't rob you of your experiences, the things you've gone through. Because it is what it is. It's happened to you. And only you.
That's
right?
good.
And I just love that we're able to share those testimonies.
Yeah.
You know, share that with each other, share that with everyone watching as well. That being said, if you haven't subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe.
Do the right
And
thing.
hit the
Do the right
notification
thing and
button.
do that for us. Yeah.
But also another element, you know, as we wrap up as well, is the sense that we want this conversation to be open to you as well.
Yes.
In the sense that, you know, we want you to jump in, we want you to comment, we want you to ask questions or things that you want to talk about. Those conversations that you just feel like, it would be so good if we could speak about this. We are open to that, and we want to be able to just open up the lounge to you so you can come, have a seat, relax, and have a chat with us.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what we're about.
No, I think it was great, and we meeting you again soon.
Yes.
With,
sooner rather than later.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be jokes. It's gonna be I don't know. I don't
be
even know what
lekker.
to expect at this
It's
point.
gonna be lekker.
It's gonna be
Let's
lekker.
go.
Yeah.
It's gonna be lekker. So thanks for joining us on the lounge. We'll join you next. We'll see you next time when you join us. Yeah, we won't join you.
Oh,
Either
we'll
w-
join you in
either
your
way.
lounge. Send us
Yeah,
your
either way, we're
address.
joining
We'll
them.
come to
Please
you.
invite us to your lounge.
Yeah.
Only if there's food provided. Just put it out there. But we'll have you joining us in the lounge.